Hi, this is Scott Trout, CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. There are many life changes that can happen after divorce that make it difficult or impossible to uphold requirements of your divorce decree. The orders issued in a divorce are based on the facts presented at that time, but the circumstances used in issuing those orders can obviously change. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell.
Contact CordellCordell.com, 1065 East Hillsdale Boulevard, Suite 310, Foster City, California, 94404.
1-800-FLOWERS.
I'm down.
That probably pays.
All right, fire.
You're listening to Nearly Informed.
Yeah! We got some energy in the studio today. It's not just like a sad show with a bunch of dudes whining and complaining. What's up? It's Nearly Informed. I'm Brian Moote. We've got Sharzad and Shereen.
Ooh. Oh, shit.
You guys sound, it's fine. Shereen, right out the gates.
I can't. I'm
You
sorry.
try to keep it clean on this show just for radio stations. Man. And what does Shereen do? Drops an S-bomb right out.
I'm sorry.
Well, everyone missed the Sharzad and Shereen C-bomb party we had.
At least it wasn't a C word.
So good to get it out.
You did good.
You know, I have to bottle my cuss words because I have kids, and then when I'm let free, it feels good. It feels right.
Totally reasonable. I mean, you should, like, in radio, we'll be in the studio, and everyone's, like, just really cognizant of their language, and then as soon as we stop, it's like, F this, F that, C-bombs, like, just the most horrid things ever. And I've had people say, don't do that in a radio station, like, especially when you're live on air. Like, this show, we're not live right now, so it's fine. But when you're live, even when you're at commercial breaks, like, if somebody just leaves a microphone on and you're in there like, you know what? No, come to think of it, F T-Mobile. And they're like, aren't they a sponsor? That just went out over the air. You're like, whatever, dude. That wasn't me. That was Post Malone. So.
Exactly.
So we were just talking. So Sharzad and Shereen sound like buddy cops.
You know, Shereen is my sister's name.
That's
Did
so
you know
weird.
that?
So I thought it was Shereeny. No?
Well, I call her Shereeny. That's
Okay.
her Instagram handle.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But Shereen, so
I mean,
when
if
you say
Instagram
that,
handle is
yeah.
more official than real
It really
names
is.
anyway,
It
at this
is.
point.
It is. Yeah. So Shereen, you know, so it is Sharzad and Shereen. It's just usually not this Shereen.
That's so sweet.
I mean, I just saw two best friends bond over the C-bomb.
C-bomb.
C-bomb
It's
is
It was
brilliant.
weird.
It's
It got
fun.
really weird. Well, I think that's why I've been such a mega fan of you. I feel like
you.
you don't know me, but honey, I know you.
Whoa.
Because you're a lot better at sharing yourself on social media.
Put it out there.
I freaking love it. And I love what you put out there. So, you know, I just felt the C word resonance.
Yeah.
I just felt that. I was like, we got that C word love.
It was very smooth. So before we get into it, people know Shereen. Follow her. She's the only Shereen Thor on the internet.
He
We've
always does
established
that.
this.
He's very into that.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. You're like the Highlander. You are the only one. You're the only Shereen Thor. Now, Sharzad, I haven't met any other Sharzad, so I'm assuming you're the only one on the internet as well, which is also a feat.
I hope so. I don't know if there's any other Sharzads on the internet. I'm sure there are, but I actually own Sharzad.com.
So it doesn't, they don't exist.
Boom.
As long as you own the .com, that's over. Like, okay.biz, whatever, get out of here.
No, it's no .biz, no .net. It's straight .com.
So
Gangster.
before we get into the show, because I want to talk to you guys about a bunch of stuff today. We've got a lot of interesting topics, especially for parents, for mothers. I'm not a parent. But we got Michael Jackson. We've got some R. Kelly nonsense we can get into later in the show. But let's establish like who you are, what do you do, so that when people are listening right now, they're not like
Why
they
is
don't
she
take
here?
it seriously that you guys are buddy cops.
Right.
Not that I don't
Yeah.
want you to be buddy cops. I kind of have a weird like obsession that should be a thing.
I like the idea of buddy cops. So, Chips, should we get some motorcycles
I'm
and
all in.
cruise up
Oh,
and down
you
the
You
coast?
guys should get a
Like,
motorcycle with a sidecar.
But can,
oh, God.
but can it be a Vespa? I've always wanted
Vespa
one of those.
sidecar.
Okay. All right.
It's like you guys are badass, but you also like care about the environment. So you're not trying to, you know, what I mean, like you care about your kids and future generations. So Vespa, low carbon emissions.
I mean, my husband used to have a really cool motorcycle. It was a Moto Guzzi, like the Italian Harley. So we were in a motorcycle gang, and then I got knocked up. And then it was like, well, I guess we got to sell that, baby.
Oh, I guess we can't be out.
Did you sell
We
it?
sold it. It was hard for him. I didn't even pressure him, but I mean, we just haven't had, you know.
It's a wise choice.
Yeah.
You want to
well,
live. You know.
Exactly, right? You see your mortality, and
Yeah.
you're like, you know what? I don't want to be
Okay.
the dad who died on a motorcycle. Like, that's ridiculous.
Well, like, I
Right.
actually want a Vespa, though, and Kenny doesn't want me to get one for this reason. Like, he's like, I don't want you to die. And I'm like, I had to sell off my Mini Cooper convertible stick shift, cool-ass car to become a mom and drive a mom car. So I will get a Vespa
Get your
to
Vespa,
remind
sister.
myself that I once had freedom.
That I'm young, wild, and free, baby.
Shereen has rage brewing inside her.
Always. Are you
well,
kidding?
she's a mom.
Mom rage.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everybody gets it in here.
Yeah,
that's true.
Absolutely.
So what do you do? Give us like the quick journey to
quick and dirty?
becoming Sharzad.com.
Sure. Well, I went to GoDaddy.com and I bought the domain. My name's Sharzad, like you know. I have 2 kids. I host a lot of different shows on YouTube. I've been doing it for about 7+ years. I started back in 2011 with creating blogs, YouTube channels.
So you jumped in on YouTube when it was like building. See,
Yeah.
I took the other stance where I'm like, I don't think this YouTube thing is going to be around for very long. So my channel's got 80 subscribers and they're like, do something. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's embarrassing.
It was like, fart videos, ass rockets, and like cat videos back in like the early days of YouTube. So a lot of people didn't really take it seriously. But in 2011, there were people like making money and working with brands. It just wasn't anywhere near as common as it is now. So I started then. I was working in the beauty business before that. Went to UCLA. Had no idea what I wanted to do. Loved beauty and kind of, meandered around in the beauty world for a little while before saying, I'm just not really into this, and then kind of starting my own thing and hustling really hard and making money pretty early on. Pitching myself to brands that I really wanted to work with to try and get them to pay me, which, actually worked in the beginning.
Look at that!
It was
Jeez.
Amazing. It was really cool. It was fun. It was, nobody was really telling me anything to do. There were no guidelines. I just kind of leaned in and went for it and made some things happen and got a lot of really fun opportunities on the way because I hustled really hard. So that brought me to here. And I host a lot of shows. And I like to have fun with the content that I create, but I also, this last year, I feel like have gotten a lot deeper with the content that I create, going through personal things with my mom having terminal cancer, being a mom myself. I just kind of wanted to cut some of the fluff out of what I was creating and really focus on some different stuff that felt really meaningful to me.
Well, I think that's like
so cool.
a neat area that YouTube and some of the online platforms have changed the way that entertainment works, because even in radio, like before, people want to know that the personalities that they see and that they like, they want to know that they actually know them. I had this discussion with someone the other day, and we'll touch on Michael Jackson later on, but people don't even know Michael Jackson. Like, we know this character, but if you ask me, what political affiliation is Michael Jackson, I have no idea, because the guy didn't actually share his real life. He just was great at dancing and wrote songs, and every time they put a microphone in front of him, he was a weirdo. So, but not like anything maybe too revealing, actually, now that we look back on it. But I think that YouTube itself has allowed people to go, oh, you know what? Like, I like Sharzad, but also, like, her life isn't perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that
Totally.
for a lot of us, the struggle is, being able to share those things and feel like it helps. I lost a cousin to a heroin overdose. My brother had just finished chemotherapy for cancer. My dad went to prison. It's things that when you share those things, people come back at you like, whoa, like I've always been ashamed of those things.
Right.
But I think that the way we've allowed access to, basically, like we were talking about Instagram stories a minute ago.
Yeah.
You can have a little TV show on your phone all day long about your life and about the quirky little things you do, silly little things, or especially if, being a mom, both of you guys, I'm sure, that's a connection point for a lot of people. Because mom rage to me sounds funny, but clearly it's real.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Brian?
Clearly it's a real thing, because both of you guys are like, yeah, the C-bomb, I had to get it out.
It's so funny. Maybe there's uptight moms, but I don't hang out with those kind of people. I like moms that I can walk in and just let the F-bomb, C-bomb fly free, get it all out there, and then I'm like, okay, we're good. Like,
we're good.
I feel like
I can go back and like be a human now.
Right.
Be a wholesome mom because I got my C words.
Yeah.
Have any of you guys let something slip, right? Of course. That's a dumb question. Of course you have, right? But then your child learns it immediately, and then in front of your husband, they say it, and then they look at you like, well, there's only one person that could have learned this from.
100%. Actually, my husband has a much dirtier mouth than I do.
Does
though.
he?
Oh, in front of the kids.
Okay.
I'm much more perverted, like out in the open, but in front of the kids, I can actually keep it pretty clean. But my 4-year-old knows the F word, and he's known it for a while. I do remember the time he used it at
so
the
casual.
playground. And I was like, well, then, at least he said it in the right context. Like, he said it correctly. And I was like, well, points for that. But, it's one of those things where you cover your mouth and you have to discipline them. But he knows the word. Oh, he's almost 5. He knows the word. He knows he's not allowed to say it. He knows sometimes mommy and daddy say it. Or if, like, we have family over that lets it slip out, he'll be like, you just said F-U-C-K. And he'll look at me like I'm supposed to yell at that person too. And I'll be like, yes, Uncle Adam said the F word,
You're like, this is another lesson.
And then I say, yeah.
Snitches get stitches.
Yeah, exactly. And I say, you know what? That's an adult word, Peanut. You got to wait until you're a little bit older. In my house, you have to wait till you're 14.
Okay.
No, I just made that up. I don't know. I don't
You
know.
said that so sophisticated.
I know.
I'm like, damn, that is a rule.
I believe
That's
it.
a good age to start cussing. No, I don't know.
14
I just said you have to wait. Yeah.
How old are your kids?
Well, my oldest will be 5 in May, and then my little chunky baby is almost 2.5.
Dude.
Yeah.
Do you
Close.
call the chunky one chunky baby in front of the 5-year-old? Because that could have some damage.
No, I don't. I just say that right now, but they're both such girthy little tanks.
They're really cute.
They're so cute. Your kids are so yummy. How old are your little ones again?
4.5.
Okay.
The older. And then just turned 2 on Monday.
So
I mean-
we're in the
So we're
exact
basically popping
same
out babies
boat.
around the same
Yeah.
time.
BFFs bonding over the C
BFFs.
word
I
and
know.
tank babies.
Tank.
This is Nearly Informed with Brad and Brian.
Fun to do this all day long.
I just thunder into the imaging whenever we hit about 9 minutes. Girthy babies!
That was funny.
I know. They'll be mortified if they ever hear that.
100%.
Like, oh my God, you called me girthy? I think I'd rather be called fat.
Don't say girth about me.
Girth just has like.
Isn't girth a good thing to?
I mean, it
Like,
depends.
right?
On the,
It's just
A
how you
guy?
describe a.
I don't know.
it depends on the context of the girth, I guess.
That's true.
I get,
Every guy who tries to be like, oh yeah, I mean, it's not about the length, it's girth. But girth in terms of like body size just sounds like a fatter word. It sounds so much,
That is true.
It
Right?
sounds pretty rough.
It
Yeah.
sounds like
Sorry, children.
It sounds like if you're at a doctor getting a physical and they're like, morbidly obese, then girthy. Girthy's like worse. It's like my girthy life.
Oh my God! Like instead of my 600-pound life, like my girth life.
Oh my God. Girth life, y'all. All right, we were talking a little bit earlier about it before the show started about Greece. About how you cut loose in Greece with 25 women?
Yep, 25 women.
25 women.
It's pretty wild, actually.
It was amazing.
Not all of them made the whole trip, right? Out of 25, like not like they passed away, but like somebody got left behind or somebody took
I was
themselves
hoping
out
that person
early.
was going to be me to get left behind.
Like they're like, we never saw her again.
She
Yeah.
stayed. She sailed away. Yeah, I hadn't gone out of the country by myself, well, ever really. I had never done like a big girls trip abroad. I traveled a ton with my husband, with my family growing up. And then this trip presented itself. It was these women that I was in a boot camp with. So we all worked out really hard together for like a year. And then we went to Greece to show off our sexy muscles.
Instagram
Hello.
shoots.
And it was like a diverse mix of women. I knew probably 18-ish of the women and then a couple randoms. But it honestly was one of the first times I truly felt free since being pregnant with my first. So over 5 years. Like I was a wild child. I was somebody who went out 8 nights a week. I, could drink vodka for breakfast. Like
I've been there.
lived it up. And so and I still like maintained a level of like fun with my husband when we got married, but it wasn't like my early days.
It's not the
of-
same kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like, well, one, I think it's just natural that, and my girlfriend and I were talking about this. She's in Atlanta, lives in Atlanta, and I go back and forth a lot, and she'll come out here. But we have a tendency, or we did initially when I first moved back here to do the radio show, where I'd go to Atlanta, and next thing you know, it's 4:30 in the morning, and we're still like turning it up at our friend's house because, one, I'm jet lagged, so I got off an airplane at 9, but 6 West Coast time, so
Right.
I don't even notice. And then it ends up ruining the next day and a half.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, I'm like limping to the airport, and it's still because of Friday night. And we've had this conversation. We're like, why can't we just, what happened? It happened in like a year. Like as soon as, you know what it was? As soon as we moved in together. Your body was like, your body was like, you know what, Brian? You're giving up now, dude.
Let it go. Let it go, old man.
My body made the decision for me. It's like one day my eye was swollen. Like one eye was just swollen.
Yeah,
Stop.
I don't know, my voice just cracked.
No.
Seriously?
No, I woke up
I
like,
believed you. I was like,
only from Botox. No,
I've been there too. I'm like, I just walked out. She's like, "What's wrong with your eye?" And I'm like, I think vodka.
yeah.
Like I don't know what the hell just happened. And I had like hives on one arm, and she's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I think my body's telling me like no more like bottomless mimosas."
Yeah.
And Greece will do that to you.
You know, it wasn't like a crazy party trip in the sense that we were out till the butt crack of dawn every day. But it was just it for me from the year that I had last year with like just being an exhausted mom, working full time, and then having a mom who I'm incredibly close with have a terminal illness. Like I really felt like I needed to go get as far away from everything as possible with some girls that I love and trust and just
be free.
Dance and not have to worry about diapers or what's for dinner or what time I had to get up the next day or anything like that. So for me, like the partying element was fun. It was more like a little bit more partying, like, you know, long lunches and wine at lunch and getting tipsy at like by 4. And it was like the best therapy.
I'm just like feeling so free. I'm like,
girl.
I'm just like living.
Yeah, I was depressed when I got back.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I've been looking forward to that for 8 months, and now I'm back to, you know, just
Groundhog Day, baby.
The normal grind.
The wheel. You're back in the wheel.
Yeah. And, you know, something about like having something to look forward to and work towards every day is just really how my personality like thrives and does well. Like I realized again after that trip, I need to have something always kind of booked. That's like for me, you know, that's separate from my kids, separate from my husband, just so I can feel like I don't know.
It's just like benchmarks.
Free.
Yeah, life benchmarks,
Yeah.
right? Or also, I do think there's something to be said for like that freedom part. I have some friends, my good friend Steve and his wife Brianna they have a son, he's 5 now, but they take trips by themselves relentlessly. I mean, like every 6 months, they have a trip, and they leave their son with one of the grandparents.
Yeah.
And they just take off and they go to like Greece, or they go like, I'll see them on Instagram. I'm like, how the hell are you guys?
Yeah.
And like for random stuff, they'll go to the Kentucky Derby, and I'm like, you guys just went to that
so
without
cool.
your kid? And they're like, we're not, dude. He's 5. He's not gonna appreciate the Kentucky Derby. We're not gonna pay another whatever it costs by the end of a trip of know hauling kids around to vacations they'll never appreciate.
Yeah.
Right?
I've done a lot of
useless.
It's the worst.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, and can we just talk about how like not everybody's like this? Like I'm like this. Like when you talk about like needing something apart from your husband and your kids, I'm like, girl, yes, quite.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, let's go. Like I need my Vespa. Let's go. But then like not everybody's like this, and I'm so like this, and I only hang out with other moms who are like this, and it perplexes me when I meet, like, for instance, yesterday I did a play date with a new person. Maya and her little friend wanted to hang out, and they kept talking about it for like months, so we're like, okay, let's make it happen. Finally happened yesterday. Dude.
She's all about
this girl.
The family.
Yeah.
She has the 4-year-old who goes to school. She has the, like, baby 1-year-old she's strapped to her, and she walks
like a
and gets
little
right.
koala bear.
I find out. I thought she was a stay-at-home mom. I find out she's a structural engineer part-time. She just moms all day and then works at night. When I told her we did a weekly date night, she was like, whoa, that's a lot of dates.
Yeah.
That's a lot of...
I was like
in a year,
it though?
52 dates with your husband a year? Jeez.
Like, and you know what I mean? Like, it made me feel like, oh, I'm so extra that I need all these things to feel alive, to feel excited, you know, to like kind of fuel myself. And I'm like... damn, that's just not my brand of mom. Like, I felt like so weird when I walked away from her. I was like, oh, like to you, I'm a lot. Like, this is too much or this is weird because you're fine with just like momming all day and then engineering at night. I would literally, it would be over. I would be done in a hot second. Like, that cannot be my life.
I mean, I think a lot of people, either you do it now, right, or you end up like trying to fill a void later in your life. I think when people when people forget about the fact that they had something that they did before, like traveling, and then all of a sudden you make it too much about the kids and work and whatever. And then when all that stuff goes away, you have trouble finding any value in anything other than, what you used to do, you know?
Exactly.
So, like, I know, and it's my girlfriend's mom is kind of someone who she always is about work and the kids, family, work, kids, family, work, kids. And now it's like, then those are who you feel the pressure for. For me, it's like, when are you guys going to have grandkids? I'm like, don't put your moms on me, yo. You can go find a hobby. You know what? Go to Greece. 25 moms did it last year. It's great.
Go with Sharzad.
Find Nearly Informed on Instagram and Twitter at Nearly Informed.
It's Nearly Informed. We have Shereen and Sharzad
Yow.
in the studio. Where do people find you guys on social media? I know it's at Shereen Thor.
Yes, thank you.
At Sharzad Kiadeh. I think if you start to put in Sharzad, Sharzad, I'll pop up somewhere.
Better pop up. I mean, search
so.
dynamics.
Come on, Grandma Lamb.
Or you can just find me because I just Women Crush Wednesday'd you.
You did?
Wow.
Oh, yes, girl.
WCW. Oh,
yeah.
Thanks,
We're-
girlfriend.
How often do you guys post your significant others in Instagram?
Like nearly never, but I just did yesterday. I was
Okay.
like, what's up, Kiadeh?
Yeah. What about you?
I'll like every 20 posts maybe
But
he'll make a
you have a pretty
cameo.
big following, right?
I don't know. I mean, it's all relative, right? What's big? I don't know.
Well, okay, like I'd say, like mine is 30,000, right? I have 30,000 people that follow me. And so we read this article today saying that the less you post your significant other, the more stress it puts on your relationship. Whatever level.
really?
But I would disagree in certain
Interesting.
regards because, like, for me, I try to limit I'll put up pictures of my girlfriend that, well, one, she has to approve all photos. Like, I don't
course,
just
smart
have,
girl,
like,
obviously.
Yeah.
She'll be like, I look like garbage now. And I'm like, no, you look beautiful. And she's like, no, look at that. Like, there's one little piece of hair that's not behind I'm like, yeah, you're the worst. So now it's like I just have to submit, like, photos for approval.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
She's
I like her already.
Right.
have a system.
She's
Good.
got, and I totally respect that. But for me, it's trying to, because I'm in entertainment, it's trying to limit criticisms, if that makes any sense. Because sometimes you put people on your Instagram and then, the commenters come a-running and they don't know you, they don't know anything about it, and then they just take shots at people. And I feel like sometimes you got to, shield some folks from getting criticized when they're not ready for that. Like,
Right.
no one needs to be called girthy on an Instagram post.
Understandable.
Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty mindful about like putting, my husband or my kids on the internet. I joke around a lot, but I don't like to fully pimp out my kids that much on the gram, or my husband. They're not total. I mean, my kids don't really know what's going on. They're 4 and 2.
Yeah.
So they
Just
don't
having
really.
a
But
good
if
have
you
any
don't,
say.
you don't
But-
pimp them out a little bit. It's like, why'd you have them? You know what I mean?
I mean, I
little
hate
bit.
to say it,
For the
but they do
likes.
get a lot of likes. They get more likes than I do. People like to see my husband because he makes cameos on my YouTube channel. So
Okay.
a lot of people feel like they kind of know him.
So in terms of
he's
like
on there
your
a little
brand,
bit, but
he's worked
Yeah.
his way
Ish.
into the fabric.
ish. Yeah, I mean, it's mostly me.
As it should be.
Totally.
And then
fair.
the boys, my 2 boys and my husband, they'll make a few cameos here
Mm-hmm.
and there. Yeah. And, like my family, my brother, sister, mom, dad, they'll make a couple cameos here and there. But I feel like I talk about my family so much that
Right.
my audience knows them. And I would say almost, everybody in my family has made some kind of an appearance on my YouTube channel at some point or another. So.
It's important to just make sure, like, for these situations, it's always, you just don't want people to feel like they're being hidden.
Hold
Yeah.
on. So that's what the article said, that if you post about your significant other less, then it creates more stress?
It creates more stress because a lot of people feel, especially, you know what, it said especially men. It's not even so much women.
Oh, interesting.
But men start to feel ignored, and they start to feel like unvalued and insecure the more posts that happen without them being in it, unless there's specific reasons for it, like, hey, listen, I don't want undue criticism coming towards you, like I'm in a different field than you are.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting component, and here's why I think it's more so with men than women, because men will look at a woman's Instagram and they'll be like, yeah, I mean, I think she's married, but she hasn't posted this dude in like 9 weeks, bro. It might be over. Like,
Maybe
we
they're
do a
not.
lot of
Yeah.
deductive reasoning and just assuming that,
So naughty.
trouble in paradise
Yeah.
over here. I'm going to slide in the DMs. And because we think that, we assume other men are thinking that, which all of a sudden like attacks your ego.
You're like, your sense of security. Like all of a sudden you're like, oh no, all these dudes are going to be up on my chick.
I
Yeah.
think my husband genuinely gives 0 Fs about being on
Which
my
is
Instagram.
good.
Like
Yeah.
he's so not into social media at all that I really don't think he cares. However, certain shows that I've done where he's made a cameo, if he does get criticized on there, if somebody says something to him, I know he's not like fully equipped to handle all the haters like I am. You can say anything to me. I've truly heard it all. I've been online for 7 years. It doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. It did the first time. It did the first few times, but I've developed such a thick skin that you could say I won't say it now, but the things that I've heard, and it doesn't bother me because I'm used to it, and I also understand that when I put myself out there, I'm putting myself out there
for positive and negative. Yeah.
Positive and negative. You can't let the positive or the negative get to you.
You can't
So
sway the
true.
direction like a positive, comment like, I'm the greatest to ever live.
And, I don't want like some huge ego, all these people saying all these good things, sure, that feels good, but it can also make me think differently. And negative stuff can also, obviously hurt my feelings. But I'm prepared for that every time I post something, like come at me, especially if I post something about politics or something about whatever that might be seen as controversial. But that's because I've been in it for so long. Somebody like my husband or sister or brother or mom, dad, like they're not as ready to handle that hate like I am.
Well, and they're also it's a decision you have to make when you start doing it. Because I remember the first couple times I had a video go viral. I had one on the Laugh Factory's website 7 years ago. And I remember there could be like a billion nice comments, but then the one negative one, I found myself doing research on the person.
No.
Like I was trying to find their YouTube page.
Right.
I'm trying to find a photo of them, and I'm mad. I'm trying to track them, like reverse track them down. I'm typing their layer.
You think you're coming after me? Oh, I'm coming after you.
Yeah, I'm like for some reason like a private investigator trying to figure out who this human being is, like spending way too much of my time on this nonsense. And it's until you realize that anyone who comments negatively, they move on with their day immediately.
That's
they don't care.
Yeah.
They just, boom, you're girthy.
Later.
Whatever, they don't care.
You're never going to live that one down, girl.
For example,
I'm fine with that.
For example, the last few days, I've been annoyed with the lack of, and I knew I was going to get people firing back at me because Michael Jackson has fans. And I was annoyed by the lack of media personalities willing to go out and say, like, hey, I watched that thing and those crimes were awful.
Yeah.
That what happened to those guys was awful. And you can sit here and you can accuse them of lying because you love Michael Jackson so much. But I'm willing to just say, you know what, Thriller ain't that good.
Right.
And I'm willing to move on
Yeah.
with that. And then today, R. Kelly getting just demolished by the same people who wouldn't say nothing about Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And I was like, way to be brave, you heroes, because R. Kelly's an easier target right now. When really we're talking ostensibly about the same thing: manipulation, abusing
Child
children.
abuse,
Exactly. And then all of these Michael Jackson fans, whoa, stop talking ill about a dead man. What is it? I'm like, wait a minute, that's the line?
Yeah, because he's passed away. We can't talk about his character when he was alive. No, I don't think so.
Right, so that's all it takes?
Hitler's a disgusting, atrocious person.
I mean, let's just burn history books because everyone who was a part of slavery is now dead. Let's not, let them
they're
rest.
Dead. Yeah.
Like, I don't believe,
no,
I don't believe that, and also I don't believe that Michael Jackson's spirit is like, knock it off, everybody.
Right.
Like, get the hell out of here.
You abuse children and take advantage of them, you should burn slowly in hell.
100%.
That's my opinion.
No, 100%. And I think that with people who haven't, and I'm not a parent, so I know it hits. And did you guys watch? Did you watch
didn't,
Leaving
and
Neverland?
I feel like I'm missing so many conversations. I have heard a lot of people talk about it. I've seen some discussion on Facebook, but I haven't watched it just yet.
I started watching it last night.
It's hard.
And
it's hard to get through.
Yeah, and I just got through the introductory stories, but didn't get into the like.
Well, I was not prepared. I really was not prepared for the level of detail that James what is it, Smoke Chuck?
Yes.
Yeah, Right Chuck.
Right Chuck.
Man, that's a name I'll
and
never.
Wade Robson.
And Wade Robson. I know that one.
Yeah.
But I was not prepared for the level of detail in terms of the sexual encounters with Michael Jackson, and even more so during graduate. I have a social work degree, and I did a lot of work with like learning about sexual abuse with with all ages, and the playbook that they laid out of how it happened is like textbook. Manipulation, separating kids from families, winning the trust, making the kids believe that this is not wrong. This is how life is supposed to be. You're a 7-year-old. This is how we express love. It's insane. And hearing all that, I'm like, if you watch that and you know anything about abuse and how long it takes you to reconcile that and the embarrassment and the shame, and especially when it's someone like Michael Jackson and you're talking about, wow, if I tell somebody this could ruin my life.
Yeah.
Right.
If you watch all that and you still are like, they're lying, well, then you just aren't okay with the fact that you have to realize that the character Michael Jackson that you listen to you was not the real person.
Right.
You know anything about
right.
that guy.
Right.
That's right.
But as a parent, I mean, when you do watch it, I imagine as a parent, because some of the people I know who are parents who got to the point like where you got, Shereen, were like, I can't even I can't imagine this existing.
Right.
Because then it like makes you think, oh my God, how many people do I, in my world, should I trust anybody?
Yeah.
Honestly, I've already got, just because of the statistics, statistically, it's more likely to be a friend or a family member who's going to sexually abuse your child. Because of that kind of stuff, man, even at family parties, I'm like, where is she? Where are they?
Yeah.
I'm a spaz about this, and I don't even know why. The truth is, hold on, let's rewind. It might be because it happened to my sister when she was 3. So
Definitely.
maybe
that is a huge factor.
Yeah, and I think there's brain intelligence, and then there's muscle memory, and body memories. I think somewhere in my nervous system, maybe I knew as a kid that something wrong happened, because I really didn't find out. She had a repressed memory come up when she was 23, so really none of us knew, you know what I mean, until it came up later.
Yeah.
But for some reason, as a parent, nothing's ever happened to me. I've never been sexually abused, but I've always been that's the worst thing that could ever happen, and it will never happen to my children. Super spaz about it.
Well, you always wonder, too, about how it influenced, what part of somebody changed because of that interaction, because of what happened. We had a therapist on the morning show and to talk about this, because we were like, listen, it's a crazy thing to watch. It's a crazy thing to discuss. But also, for parents or people, what are things how do you talk about these issues with your kids? How do you educate them? And she had something really interesting about teaching kids to know the boundaries of their own body, to know what's comfortable for them or not. And she said, even from at the time that your kids are babies, don't just whip off their diaper and change their diaper. Tell them what you're doing. Hey, is it okay? They can't give consent. They can't speak yet. Right. But just getting them comfortable with the language of is it okay if I change your diaper, or is it this or that? I mean, granted, even when your kids too, you're like, hey, can I change your diaper? And they're like, hell no. You're like, all right, well, I'm gonna. I just want to give you a heads up.
Yeah.
But another thing that I found really interesting, and I think that people don't even know that this may be something that you could change, is that how we have this weird insecurity when our kids won't hug somebody that's a friend of ours, right? We feel like it reflects poorly on us.
Yeah.
She was saying, let your kids know it's okay that if they meet somebody and they just aren't comfortable, don't make them hug that person.
Yeah.
Don't make them go over there. I mean, just because you know them doesn't mean your children feel okay with it.
Yeah.
And subconsciously for kids, it's always like, hey, stop feeling uncomfortable right there. That's a grown up. Get over there.
Right.
And now, granted,
submit
it's not
to what they want, or
it's not giving the green light for any of that any abuse, but it is kind of insinuating to your kids subtly that, hey, you feel uncomfortable, but that's just normal.
It's okay.
Right.
Yeah. Don't honor your own intuition. Yeah.
Yeah. And no, I think it's good. Kids have an amazing little intuition, though. They really do. Even before they can fully verbally communicate. It's funny. My oldest is a lot like me. He'll go up to anybody and hug them. He'll just, he's just really
probably how I was
fearless. He'll, he'd walk away with a stranger if they promised a good time.
I love your confidence, but also we need to rein that in a little bit, bud.
Sounds like me. Whereas my youngest has what we call stranger danger, and really doesn't want to be near anybody that he doesn't fully know. It's funny too. You brought up changing the diaper. My youngest gets really shy when I change his diaper.
Really?
And it's I only imagine it's shy because he really wants my husband to change his diaper. And I feel like there's these little emotions that are already developing in this little human, and they really, I don't know, I think kids have an intuition that shouldn't be ignored ever. And I definitely am all for not forcing your kid to hug somebody maybe there's a creepy uncle that you haven't seen in 10 years. They shouldn't be forced to go hug that person. So parenting it's a wild ride. You go in with the best intentions, and you just really hope that you don't F them up.
Well, it's you realize you're programming somebody. You're helping, you're helping connect the wires and things. For me, I'm going to try to remember for when I do become a parent, because I think that we get super insecure if we, if your kid meets a friend of yours and they're like, whoa,
yeah,
and you're like, oh my God, don't feel bad. They do that to everybody. It's like when a dog barks at someone and they never bark at people, and you're like, no, it's not you, it's my weird dog, it's my weird kid just doesn't want to hug you. It's not that you're a creep with a weird mustache or whatever. Which is insane. All right, we're gonna light it up in the last segment.
We're gonna try.
Whoa, we're going straight Bachelor, Shereen.
This is Nearly Informed with Brad and Brian.
All right, rolling into segment 4, Shereen and Sharzad. I didn't even ask if you're a Bachelor fan, Sharzad.
You guys, I am not with it. I haven't seen the other show. I haven't seen The Bachelor.
None of it? Like you've never watched?
I've seen like a few episodes over the years.
You're a better person than us.
I mean, but
No, I really
if you
like
ask
myself.
about Vanderpump Rules or Southern
Okay,
Charm, like,
okay.
I know every single thing that's going on. I follow all of them on Instagram. Vanderpump Rules.
Thomas or Catherine? Whose side are you on Southern Charm?
Oh God, Catherine.
Yeah, Thomas is a scumbag.
For a second, you
like
said
old-
Thomas, and I was thinking Tom, like Vanderpump
Oh,
Rules,
yeah.
but Southern Charm. Thomas.
Oh
Ugh.
God, it's so gross.
I feel like I met somebody that met him in Charleston, like out on a girls' trip, and like went back to his house with him, and said it was so pathetic. And I just not like she hooked up with him, but just like the whole scene.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
He's
It's
in
that
his mid-50s,
Southern
right?
socialite
Yeah.
scene. When I lived in the South, we were the radio show I was on was syndicated in Charleston, and I liked Southern Charm. I like all those. Like, I blame my girlfriend for it, but that's not even true. Like, I'm so down. Like the other day, she was out here, and we like to hit one of the Vanderpump restaurants, and I always blame her. But I was like, I don't feel comfortable as a California resident now.
Yeah.
Like going to Tom Tom.
Right, but I really want to go. And to make you feel better, my husband's like, yeah, I'll watch that show.
I know, he does the same
He
thing.
totally wants to watch it. I know he does. And I want to go to all their establishments and just casually bump into them as often as possible.
Like she'll go.
Like
You're
it's a
totally
Belmont.
reasonable.
And-
Yeah.
No, she does too. And this was funny because so we were. It was right when I moved out here, and she came out here with me. It was Valentine's Day of last year, and she was like, "Hey, let's go to Villa Blanca." And she's like, "Did you make
Yes.
reservations?" I'm like, "Jess, listen, I know on the show that it's not gonna be packed. Trust me, it's not gonna be packed." She's like, "Brian, it's the day before Valentine's Day." I'm like, "Trust me, Villa Blanca is not gonna be packed." And we pull up, it's not packed.
Okay.
And I'm like, and she's like, I wonder if we'll see Lisa. I'm like, Jess, babe, I don't want you to get all your, hopes up and we don't see anybody. Sure enough, Lisa Vanderpump's like eating right on the
Stop.
patio.
Yep.
So she's like, I told you to be there. And so we go in and we eat at the bar and stuff. And she's like, I want to say hi to her. I'm like, no, don't do that. Like, you know what? I live in this town now.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not some tourist.
When you live here, you can't.
I mean, I can't act impressed,
Right?
by anybody.
Right, of course not.
So we're walking out, and then Lisa gets up. Lisa and her husband get up, and Lisa asks us, and by the way, she is a tiny person.
Oh, really?
I've seen her at Villa Blanca.
She is a teeny tiny little thing.
Love her.
And
Part of your stalking, both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Very,
Oh, my God.
very amazing, this conversation.
well, she just is like, and also I feel like she doesn't walk, she floats. All right,
Yeah.
like
Does
she
she?
just hovers.
She just hovers.
She hovers with a wand, like she's like Tinkerbell in the flesh. And she comes out and she's like, how was your dinner? And I was like, great, it's wonderful, And then I'm trying to make a joke. She's like, oh, fantastic. And I'm like, you know what? Got to take her out to dinner twice on Valentine's Day. And she goes, with a girl like this, she deserves it. And Jessica was like, oh, like just swooning,
Starstruck.
yeah, just starstruck. and Jessica was like, we have like a brief conversation. She's like, come back anytime. And we get in the Uber, and Jessica's like, did you hear what she said to me? I'm like, yes, I heard. She said you're beautiful. And also she said, come back anytime. She's like, do you think she meant it? And I'm like, what, come back anytime?
Yeah.
Or and she's like, no, the beautiful part. I'm like, yeah, of course she meant that. I mean, Lisa Vanderpump, she would never lie.
She is actually really beautiful. She's a blonde
Jess?
bombshell.
Yeah,
Totally.
she's fantastic.
She's beautiful, yeah.
And
bet.
but Tom's the next on the list.
Me too. I want to go there. But I feel like when the show's like on, that's probably when it's really packed. Like you got to wait till like
Yeah,
a couple months from now, right?
This
Right.
is
Try and get in.
fascinating and everything, but Colton
Let's get
and
to
the
the
fence,
All
okay?
Okay, somebody, even though I don't know anything about the
You know about the
Bachelor,
fence.
You know about the
I
fence.
feel like
Everyone
I heard
knows about the
somebody
fence.
talking about the fence.
Know about the
Is
damn
he
fence.
also a virgin?
He's a virgin.
Okay.
Oh, girl.
That's different.
It's
I
right?
did not.
Yeah, that's different.
Well, listen. Here's the funny part. That virgin thing kind of got boring after the first episode.
Okay.
It was a little boring. I agree. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's like,
he's
what-
never put his penis in a vagina. I
This is
get
not
it.
right.
so boring.
I mean,
Stop talking
this
about it.
fantasy suite's gonna be a real letdown.
Yeah.
Well, he already did one.
yeah, but did he do it?
He didn't do it.
Or did he say? Well, he's like in love with.
sexy time.
Let's back it up. Real
Okay,
quick.
let's back it. Go, Brian.
So the first
Set us
episode,
up.
he is a virgin, Colton the virgin.
Second
and,
episode, he's like, nope, not a virgin anymore.
Yeah, he's like,
No.
bam, this is great, man.
I love being the
The
best.
show is dope. So the first episode, they like tease the rest of the season, and they're like, at one point in time, he's like storming out. He's like, I'm done. And he's storming out of the show, and he climbs the fence and like, Colton, and looking for him,
He
and I'm like,
hops an 8-foot
Yeah,
wall.
he just jumps his fence.
Wait,
Just
why?
boom.
Because he's just pissed.
And we don't
We
know.
don't know.
But we don't know.
He's a virgin.
They're
He's
baiting
upset.
us.
It was like
They
too
have
much-
baited us the entire season
much
with this
vagina
fence
in you.
jump. We're all like, what happened?
Well, I was like, I don't know if he even likes girls. That's what I thought. I was like, listen, it seems like, I mean, not that you don't have to, not that being a virgin at 25 means you don't like girls, but I mean, he was a professional athlete and all this other stuff.
What kind of upbringing did he have? Super religious? Is that why?
No,
he's a virgin?
he said it wasn't religious. He just never got.
But I think his family was religious, though. Maybe his
but
reason.
it's not because of
Like,
religion.
is he a virgin because he's waiting till he gets married?
No,
for some?
no.
He
He's
was
just
waiting to
Didn't
love.
find
I think he's just waiting for the right guy. No,
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
yeah.
I shouldn't say those things. I don't
No,
know
he's
anything
really
about it.
not because he's a hunk. Stop ruining it for me,
All right.
Brian.
Yeah, you're right. He's frolicking in the ocean with these women. But then that's first episode, so I'm like, oh, damn, why does he jump this fence?
Yeah.
They teased it, like,
Forever.
next on The Bachelor. Next week on The and they show the fence scene again every 10 episodes.
Lies.
Finally.
Right? They know what to do.
Finally, this week, we find out why he's going to jump the fence because he tells the girl that he loves her, and she's like, nah, I love you a lot, but like not all the way.
Oh,
I'm only
yes.
23. I've been known you for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is totally reasonable to not fall in love with someone in 3 weeks on television.
What
And
are you
so
talking about?
So she's like
So stupid.
she's like gonna eliminate herself, right? She's like, I'm done, and he's like, I can't do the show anymore. I'm going after her, and he jumps the fence. But then guess what they do? Then they say, oh, find out what happens on the other side of the fence next week.
Yeah, it was a cliffhanger.
So
Complete
To be
BS.
continued.
So mean.
I was
can't
very
live like
sad.
that. I need to wait till they're all out, and then I can just
Then
binge,
you can binge, yeah.
So next week we find
pretty
out.
funny.
I didn't watch the Women Tell All
But
episode.
you don't know. Oh, no,
What?
you know. So did you watch, though? Did you watch the
I didn't
episode?
watch it. I just
You
get the
didn't
cliff notes.
freaking watch the
I
episode?
get the cliff notes from Jessica. And all they want
Do
to
you
know
seriously? That's it?
What? Yeah.
I'm just so disappointed.
I watched
you
the
didn't
clips.
go through the heartbreak that I went through when I watched his heartbreak before he jumped
Get
that fence.
out of here. You know why his heart broke so bad? Because he's a virgin still.
That's no.
And he hasn't really had his heart broken
you
until
guys-
the first girl that he
you're
sleeps
hilarious.
with crushes
You're
him.
hilarious with your judginess and your Colton's gay bullcrap, okay?
I did not say that. I just said he may not like girls.
Well, he loves her so much that he jumped the fence. He couldn't even stand being on the show. I mean, because basically at this point he has 3 women left. They're all amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The one that he clearly is obsessed with isn't all the way into it with him. So now he has these 2 other
She's out.
girls. Like, what is he going to tell them? Like, hey, I basically professed my undying love for this one, but since she
Yeah.
left, what, do you want to get
yeah.
married?
You.
Like, yeah,
Any,
like,
any y'all bitches free on Tuesday?
so, like, of course he jumped the fence because he's like, now I can't do the show anymore. Like, I just put my balls out and they got crushed.
And that's why I've never had sex, because I knew someone would crush my
Well,
balls.
he wanted to sex her that night.
Sorry, buddy. That I mean,
you guys, I am missing some TV
Girl,
goals right
You
here.
are.
This
What
is
have I
some
been
dirty
doing?
reality
It's
TV.
Mondays, right?
What have you been doing with your life?
I mean, sorry.
she's been dropping C-bombs in Greece, man.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
That's true.
Don't worry. You're
I'll
making
get
up-
back onto. I'll
Yes.
get back on.
Nah,
what
stay
is
on
it,
the van.
20th
No, you
season
can
or
binge. Do you have
something?
Hulu?
Yeah.
No,
binge,
Shereen,
girl.
don't. Bravo's better. Stay on Team Bravo.
No,
All right, we got to go for Nearly Informed. So follow Sharzad. Find her on, where should people find you first? Instagram.
Graham, yeah, I'm all over YouTube.
Hit her on the
too,
gram.
But hit me on the gram.
Hit her on the gram. She's Shereen's Women Crush Wednesday. You'd be mine this week, but I think I've hit that point in my relationship where I need to do a Jessica Women Crush Wednesday. I'm going to be in a lot of trouble.
Got to be here every week, dude.
Always.
Thanks for listening. Also, check out the podcast Shereen's about to do with Sharzad. It'll come out pretty soon. Awaken the Rebel.
Yes.
That's going to be good. And theirs is totally unfiltered.
It's true.
Oh, yes. So we can cuss.
Cuss all you want
C
to.
words all day, girl.
Can't wait.
This is Nearly Informed. If you like this show, find it on the radio.com.
And now, an ad from Dad.
All right, save money on car insurance when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Can I take these off? All right. What is this? This looks good. Wow. That's well made. Where did you get this? I'm talking to you with the hair. Yeah, where did you get this? It's good stuff. That's solid. That's not veneer. That's solid stuff.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
I'm a lawn guy and proud of it. Pro tip, watch the fall leaves. When that first bad boy drops, boom, get feeding and seeding with Scott's. Lay down Scott's Turf Builder today, and come spring, your lawn will be so thick, green, and strong, neighbors like Steve over there will be mad green with envy. Hey, sweet lawn, Stevie. Steve.
Don't be a Steve. Be a lawn guy. Pick up a bag of Scott's Turf Builder today. This is a Scott's Yard.